normal employee, okay, they will do their business only. They don't care about the company. How about your company this year turnover target?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows, yes.
They don't care about that.
Today, we are very happy to welcome very special guest, Mr. Choi Bong. He's the very special friend to us, and more importantly, the special friend of Vietnam in general. And Mr. Choi Bong is one of the most respected businessmen in both Korean and Vietnamese business community. He's the former General Director of LG Cable, the former Chairman of Overseas Korean Association in Vietnam, the former Chairman of Korean Trading Association in Vietnam, and now he is the Executive Advisor of Korean SME Association in Vietnam. So most importantly, he has been in Vietnam in almost 30 years. And Mr. Choi Bong is the first person witness of both Korean and Vietnamese development. He was a backer of core technology, in his own words, when he was working for LG. And now, with an undying resolution and passion, he wants to contribute and help Vietnamese entrepreneurs to understand the same wisdom that he spent a lifetime to collect. And as he introduced himself, if there is one word to describe Mr. Choi, he would be the transporter of change. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Choi Bong.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best to devote myself to connect between Vietnam company and Korean company. So I think this is the best chance to cooperate each other. So, and also I want to devote myself for all the CEO mind to change it. Now, if all CEO in Vietnam change your mind, I'm sure your company will be continuously successful. During my staying in Vietnam, I recognized many things to do, but keep in your mind only one thing. Change your mind, how you can develop your company, how you can change your employee together. This is one of the ways to survive in the very near future and forever. There's the things I want to hand over and share my idea to you.
Thank you, Mr. Choi, for sharing at the seminar. We have a lot of questions and interest, not only from the audience, but also from the other guest speaker that day. And one of very important keyword, but most people don't understand, is the ownership. So could you please tell us what is ownership in organization exactly?
Okay, ownership is a kind of mind for all employees to make the company develop, as same as owner. For the best ownership, autonomy is one of the key words. We can divide all employees three kinds. The worst employee, they don't want to follow company regulation, the manual. The normal employees, okay, they follow the company manual and the standard. The best employees not only following the regulation and manual, but also they create something for cost reduction and better quality and high speed they always consider about how we can change it, how we can create new way to go ahead. We have to, of course, we can say this one autonomously, okay, not compulsory. The ownership can make all employee is acting autonomously. So autonomy itself is very important keyword for the company management.
So what you are saying is with ownership mindset, it will help the leader to create autonomy and thus will promote the best kind of employee, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. And can you give us more example of how do you tell if this company is having ownership mindset or it doesn't have?
There are many famous companies now they are adopting ownership, but you can find very easily in the street Starbucks,
Okay.
coffee shop. Why the Starbucks become number one in the world? If you go to the several Starbucks one by one, maybe you can recognize all the layout for the location of the coffee machine, location of the cup, location of the table. Every shop different. Normally the franchising, in this case franchising, okay, they must follow the manual. But in case of Starbucks, they different. Understand? Autonomously, they consider, they check again about the environment, and then potential customer, and then they think about how we put, how we design by themselves. You understand?
So the manager in each location can design the design.
Can decide by themselves.
Right?
Yeah.
That's suitable for that location. Suitable. for
How
that
we
city,
can
right?
attract the customer.
Okay.
I think what the Choi meant is even though the company still follow a certain ADN or recipe, but with the correct amount of ownership, they give the powers to the men on the ground so they can decide by themselves okay, what kind of food, what kind of drink, and how we should organize
Okay.
the shop that is best for this area. Is that right?
How we can attract the customer more, and then how we can give the better service to the customer.
Yep.
Right.
So ownership is good, and that it allows you enable the people on the ground. Is it correct? Yeah. So it's very important.
Right. But we will still keep the core values
Okay,
of
core
that
va-
brand.
Yes.
The core value of this company will still keep.
So taste of the coffee. If you visit to Starbucks, for example, Bading or Hwan any place, even Korea, Starbucks in Korea, Starbucks in the United States, in Vietnam, the taste the same. That
Alright.
means recipe same. But interior design, okay, they can decide by themselves.
All right.
That's a key point for their success.
Okay.
So ownership and enabling is very good. What else? Okay, this is a story, a real story. When I was working with the factories, the manager was Korean, and we were doing some plastic injection molding products, right? And the Korean manager was supposed to deliver toolings for the product, but the tool kept failing, maybe 2 times, 3 times. Then I noticed that he burst into tears. He kept crying like a baby in front of everybody, in front of the staff. So is it a sign of ownership in this story?
Yeah, I think so. If he had no ownership, okay, he can give up immediately. He tried so many times and then finally failed and he cried. This one, in a sense, he considered he is owner. He did his best to make success, but finally failed. So finally he cried. So this comes from the ownership.
Right.
I basically agree with you. If the employee have strong ownership, they compute the same as owner.
Same as his own work.
Yeah.
All right.
Owner.
So I remember two very important words related directly to the organization behavior. The one word is responsibility, and the other word is accountability.
Yes.
So what about the difference between two words? No, it's not accounting.
Yeah, I think there's a distinct difference. A lot of people confuse the two words, but I think there's a distinct difference between responsibility and accountability. Okay, responsible meaning, for example, a husband responsibility or a manager responsibility is more toward the positions. So we have certain kind of responsible, right? But accountability is something that you take ownership of the problem. It's your own thing, right? So it's totally different. And you are not only taking the responsible for executing the work, you're also taking responsible for how you do it, how other people feel about it. So that is accountability.
So the accountability is more ownership than the responsibility, right?
Yes, that's correct.
All right.
Vice versa. How can you tell if a company is without ownership culture? How do you tell?
Maybe without ownership culture, nobody guarantee the company future. For example, if we have very urgent and important job, one worker have to do this job continuously from 8 o'clock start, okay? And as you know, from 12 o'clock to 1 p.m. is lunch time, break time. And 5 p.m. it finish. How do you think about that? Normal case. Okay, even they don't care about this is important or what other thing. Okay, 5 o'clock get close and then they go out. If our employee have strong ownership, oh, I must solve this problem. I must finish as far as I can do. Even midnight, I have to work continuously. These two persons, different activity different. Okay, so one person who have ownership, one person who doesn't have ownership. So basically, all the company environment is same. So if the company have ownership culture, all employees, all the member of the company, they consider all the business, all the important point, important management. Okay, I have to follow, I have to do, I have to complete. This is my responsibility, accountability. So without ownership, okay, owner, I'm an employee. Okay, I can work only 8 hours, finish. They're quite different. The kind of people work as machine.
Work as machine.
Okay,
Yeah.
not man.
This gave me a reminder. My first job my first job in Singapore was working for a Korean company actually. We do semiconductor equipment service. So when our customer have a machine breakdown, me and my at that time Korean manager, we go in and repair the machine. And we was in the fab, the semiconductor fab, for 3 days. Never go home. For 3 days, never go home. We do the work until the machine up and running again. Then we go home. At that time, I thought that my Korean manager is crazy. But are you saying that is a normal work ethic in Korea and is something that we should learn from?
So Daniel, so should we talk a little bit about that case, right?
Yeah.
So for you,
Yes.
what about the reason? What about the reason that that manager or that people they contribute a lot? They have the ownership attitude. Why? The reason?
If Daniel, you can remember
Yes.
When we have the forum, okay, at that time I shout like this: company success is my success.
Okay, now I understand.
You understand?
Yes.
Oh, company success, I don't care about company success. All I care about my success. They never concern about the company, extra business. You understand? Company success. So I devote myself to make the company success.
It was just not me that think that the Korean manager was crazy, but it's also our Singaporean. The company was in Singapore. Our Singaporean customer also think that those guys are crazy. You know, when they were working for the whole day, they saw us there. They go back sleep. Next day they come back. They still saw us working on the machine. And then at the end of the day, when they go back, they sleep again. Next day they go back. They still see the three of us in the fab working. I mean, we did have some rest. We slept under the machine for maybe half an hour, and then we
That's correct.
and then we
Okay.
do it again. I didn't understand that it's ownership. I was a young boy, fresh graduate. I didn't understand that it's what ownership, but I just follow, and nobody was teaching me about ownership. I
All
just
right,
followed the
right.
way that-
Okay,
that
now we
people
got the
is
reason,
working.
right?
Yeah. But now I understand that it's called ownership.
We can shout, okay, customer is the king.
Yeah.
You understand? So delivery time is very, very important.
Yeah.
When we receive order from the customer, okay, we have to decide the delivery date. But we have some problem, so we cannot meet the delivery time. In this case, normally we work 8 hours. Okay, if we consider about our customer is the king. So even we work 12 hours, 20 hours per day, we must finish, and then we must keep the delivery date.
So
If we don't have ownership, okay, how we can work, okay, 12 hours, 20 hours per day?
So ownership will make the employee automatically think about the customer first.
Okay.
And it's at the end of the day, it's very good for the company.
But we must understand, okay, we are owner, for example, we are owner, but we can introduce ownership to our employee. And then we expect, they follow the ownership. But this nonsense. Normal human is different from this case. In this case, when we share the company situation, we must make our employee, we understand the company situation now. We have to devote ourselves to make and solve this problem. That means without any information about the company, you understand? How they consider, how they think, we devote ourselves to the company develop more. In case of the Vietnam company, maybe most of the company, the CEO, they do not share the company core information.
Okay. So
So, normal employee, okay, they will do their business only. They don't care about the company.
So it's the leader job to articulate the core information in the company so that everybody will know, and then slowly they will develop the ownership by themselves.
Okay, so for example, we are family.
Yeah.
Ownership is a kind of family ship.
Okay.
We are brethren, okay? One house, very big problem, fundamentally. No money.
Okay.
In this case, I'm father. In this case, if I do not inform to my son, why my father become very lazy. They don't care about the father. If we are really consider about the family ship, the father must inform to the children. My son, unfortunately, I lose a chance to get a job. So maybe it take 1 month or 2 months.
All right.
Okay? So even though we feel very hungry, okay, endure.
So
In that case,
yeah,
maybe
Right.
the son agree exactly, and then they will do their best to support father.
so sharing the information is very important.
Yes, and also another thing I
Sharing
pick
the
up-
ideas, sharing the situation, right, is very important.
Yes. And I also just pick up that ownership will also allow people to bear more hardship. So they don't complain.
They don't complain.
Just devote more.
Give more.
Correct? Yeah.
Okay.
And also one more question, right? I noticed a lot of company in Vietnam, well, for example, when there's a problem happen, customer complain, then the first reaction is to give some reason, or maybe to blame. It's not my problem, it's a technical problem, or it's not my problem, it's a material department problem. Is it a sign of a company lacking ownership?
Sure.
Yeah. And normally, what do you think the company should react when a customer complains like that?
How about your company this year turnover target?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Yes.
They don't care about that.